And we are live. Here we go. All right. Hello everybody. This is James Appreciate speaking, with my Trackmaster 2 horny profile picture. I have today we're going to be doing a special video, a bit different. I have done one of these before, but I'm going to be doing a reaction to a special documentary that I recently watched with my good friend Tim. Now I have a friend joining me that has never seen this documentary before, and his name is Scott.
Hey,
Hello, hello. What's up? All
nothing.
right, so let's see who we have here. We have Percy Productions. Hello, Mr. Oliver, Ethan Miller. Trainmaster One is Ethan Miller. We have Jackie, the Class 40 Diesel, and that's it. We got 4 viewers, and we're good. All right, so how's it going, Scott?
Nothing.
It's 2 p.m. in the UK right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's six. It's freaking a quarter of a day ahead in the UK, which makes it really annoying to have to like schedule stuff, because
yeah,
freaking the afternoon from in if it's the afternoon for me, you could already be asleep, and I have no idea.
true.
All right, so we're gonna be doing a reaction. I've seen this before. I've seen this before. Um, I remember a few parts. I'm gonna be turning on camera. Here we go. This is the BBC. And for those of you who don't know what the BBC is, because a lot of you guys are American, the BBC is a UK sort of news channel. I think Scott can explain it better than I can.
Yes, I have a British channel.
It's a British, yeah, pretty much a British, just, I guess, news channel. I'm trying to set up my camera as good as I can, because this kind of sucks.
Yep.
Damn it. I hate having to set up my camera. I have like this little school or London bus that I use to hold this up. Here we
Yeah, I can never think
go.
stand.
I should probably. I think. Yeah. I hate doing this. I need something a little bit taller to hold up my phone. I need something to hold up my phone. Maybe. Oh, I know. I can use this book. Here we go. Or I could do this.
Shut up!
Jesus, what was that? Did anyone hear
I'm
that? Was that your bird?
No, it's my sibling. He's really annoying.
Your sibling. All right, we got new comments. BBC is goodly. Thank you for my name. You're welcome, Jackie. Hello, James Appreciates. We got James the Reddit too, so we got 5 viewers here. So James the Reddit and Jin, we're gonna be doing a quick reaction. Well, not really quick. It's freaking 40 minutes long, but we're gonna do a reaction to a documentary on the BBC. And since we got 5 viewers, I think that's good. So we are going to start right now. Here we go. I hope you guys can hear this well. I hope my camera doesn't fall through all of this.
6 degrees in Toronto. Now you're up to date. I'm Dan Turner, Chum News. In for Rusty Cloud. Good afternoon. It's 2:02 in Toronto.
Sounds like a dirty job.
It's Georgie.
One that can end up badly for everyone. Doesn't it sort of remind you of James and Percy?
For those of you uncultured swines, that man was George Carlin, one of the U.S. narrators for Thomas the Tank Engine. He was the U.S. narrator, and I'm not sure, definitely, I don't know if you know this, Scott, but he's also a comedian. He did a lot of, like, he did a lot of stuff about, like, how America is not really the best country. He did a lot of put downs on, like, government and politics and religion. He did a lot of that kind of stuff. What's going on there? Scott. 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 Hold on, I'll wait for Scott to come back. Something's happening. One of my faves. My OC's Jackie the 40. Alright, hey? Hello, Scott. What's going on? Scott, is my mic muted? No. Scott, Scott.
Huh?
All right, there we go. Did you start
Yeah.
watching? Did you see the beginning? We
Yeah.
can restart it. It's like, all right, it's like 24 seconds. We'll go back.
That's
We'll
all
go
right.
back. All right, all right. Here we go. And we're gonna see the legend George Carlin. He only appears once in this whole thing. Uh-oh. Let's do this.
It's 2-2 in Toronto.
Sounds like a dirty job, and one that can end up badly for everyone. Doesn't it sort of remind you of James and Percy?
Guys in the comments, tell me if the audio is good. Scott, is the audio good for you?
It's like sort of glitching, but I don't really mind it.
Everyone, in like the 5 people in the live stream, if throughout like the 30 seconds of this, of you guys listening to this, was the audio good? Because I want to make sure this is good. I'm wearing headphones that have a microphone in it, so I can get closer to the mic. Canadian train. Yes, it was a Canadian train. This is the Canada National Freight Train Company. CN Canada National. Yep. All right. I think it great. Okay, let's do this. And they do a lot of they do a couple episode references.
It was a splendid morning on the island of Sodor.
Is Gordon.
It's the galloping
James was
sausage.
feeling very pleased with himself. His red paint gleamed in the sunshine as he sped along the line.
It's the
He
bastard.
reached the junction just as Percy puffed in with some freight cars.
I never understood how in this episode his whistle sounded so different. Like, it was like a bit
Lol.
more high pitched or low pitched. I don't know. It was a bit different.
Line. He reached the junction just as Percy puffed in with some freight cars. James was surprised to see him. What are you doing here, Percy? You should be at the station by now.
He's Canadian.
They also interview a lot of kids in this, and this one did something. This one did a big no brain moment. He did a big stupid near the end.
He talks like
Well,
a
all we should
Canadian,
do
like
is not let
me
Trevor in.
and all the other
Yeah.
people. And there's another engine who's called Donald,
Oh, this is where he does the big no with the Donald.
and he's from the West, the Wild West.
He is not from the Wild West. He is from Scotland.
This show's just dumb.
How do you go live? Long story short, this is on StreamYard, which is a special streaming thing, which is a special streaming website where you can have multiple people from all around the world join you. Mr. Sans the Black Ladder knows how to use it. You just sign in and do a live stream. It's simple. They pretty much do a tutorial for you. But if you want to know how to go
Lol,
live
that
on
child's
YouTube,
face.
yeah, he's got earrings.
Look at the child's face.
On YouTube, you just click the big button that looks like a film camera, and then you click the go live button. All right, let's do this.
He has the same name as me, Donald, Donald, and he's a twin like me.
This is where they show merchandising.
I think people were looking for something that was totally nonviolent,
Henry.
totally interesting.
There was Duck and Bill right just there.
A little bit educational because it teaches them about
Did anyone else see
train
Henry
travel. And
Gray?
I think he just came along at exactly the right time. Maybe he was discovered 40 years later, but
There's Shining Time, Ertl Thomas. He's right there. Actually, this angle's better. That's better. Yikes, haha. All right, let's keep going.
I think that's why he's so magical.
The Thomas the Tank Engine Man. This is the story of a Vicar who created an imaginary world of trains 50 years ago. It was a simple idea, but today those trains are $1 billion business worldwide. And also keep in mind, this is from 1995, so this isn't 75 years ago. Well, this isn't the 75th anniversary. This is from 1995, so this is 50 years ago. It says 50 years ago. That's the 100 piece set.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
All right. This next scene is what I call interesting or creative. There's an LMS IVAC class with a freaking painted on face.
I really hate when
And
they do that. Can't they just mold a face?
yeah, the LMS IVAC, for those of you who don't know, that's Arthur's class, or I guess in your case, Scott's class. Shut up, I don't care about updates. I just want to watch this video.
Good morning.
Look, there's the
My talk is entitled
children.
Growing Up with
Yeah.
Thomas the Tank Engine. My
This is Hilary Fortman. She's the Wilbert Awdry's daughter.
father's love of trains came from my grandfather, who was also a vicar.
Man,
While
she's
Dad
ugly.
was still a toddler,
Huh?
She's very ugly.
Oh, how very mean.
my grandfather used to take him for walks, and they invariably ended up near the railway track, where they would stand and watch steam trains together.
Oh, this scene is what's going on back there? Who are these people? I swear there's people in your house. Black 5. Well, it wasn't a Black 5. It was an LMS IVAT. But Scott, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Off. Okay. All right, let's do this.
Trains
This
together.
next scene is really good. And the pistons are pumping. Now this is a Black 5. You were right, Jackie, just not
Yeah.
at the right time. This is beautiful. They show how everything works out here. They have cab windows to look outside. They have the firemen. Now this is Stroud, England, where we end up at a small house with a sign that says LMS 30, and we end up in the house of the Reverend himself.
Well, I suppose a childhood memory, lying in bed at night.
And this is where he scratches his nose.
Yummy booger.
He's not exactly picking it, he's just like scratching that weird thing like above your lip but below your nose. Would love to collaborate in a live. Ethan, if you want, maybe I don't know how, but maybe if I have something planned, maybe we can do something. All right.
One would hear a heavy goods from South Wales or elsewhere
Now this is interesting.
come into the station, stop and crow for a banker.
It's the Duck Army. It's the Duck Army, boys. Black 5, green life, blue 5. No.
Is that duck?
This is where this comes from. Buffering. This is where this comes from, Percy Productions. You're right. This is where the no comes from. And Scott, it's the Duck Army. Scott.
Hmm?
It's the Duck Army.
Yes.
We have an army of pannier tanks.
The banker would come out of its shed, buffer up behind,
Oh,
and crow first be ready. And
Now
then the two engines
this is also a Black 5.
up the hill. And the boy's imagination, you could hear the two engines talking to each other. I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. And the banker behind, oh yes you can, Yes, you
It's
can.
Duck
Yes, you
pushing
can.
Henry.
Yes, you can.
And this is very
Man, he's
important
strong.
because this is very important because if you remember in the episode Fish, Duck was helping Henry up the hill. This was in I believe,
Yeah.
the season 4 version of Fish because they couldn't think of a better title. All right, let's go back.
You hear them
Now,
making their way up
this is interesting. This is
the hill.
this. Hold on.
Good
Let me see.
engine.
This is a 9F. For those of you who don't know what a 9F is, this is Murdoch's class. You can see he's got 5 wheels on one side, making 10 big ones. He's got 2 bogey wheels in the front and 2 in the back. This is Murdoch's class. Duck pushing Henry. Gotta go, sorry, bye. See you, Ethan. And, oh, that's
Murdoch
cool.
doesn't have it.
He doesn't have a what?
Okay, on Murdoch, there's like no like extra wheels on the back. It's just 5, then 2.
Yeah, I think this is 5 and 2. I don't know. Maybe it's just like something I saw. I don't know.
Working their way up the hill.
Yeah,
Good
it's just the 5. It's just the 5.
engine
But this is a 9F.
and the banker saying in
No, this is Duck and Ginty. This is a pannier tank, and this is a Ginty Fowler. What's going on back there? Freaking. Let's continue.
effect. You're making a fuss about nothing.
It's Duck,
You can do
Ginty,
it.
and the
You
spiteful
can do it.
brake
You
van.
can do it. You can do it.
And
I suppose that child's good
there's
memory
Duck and
was
Duck.
the basis of these subsequent stories.
There we go. So, Murdoch! Yeah, alright. Scott, you still there? Something keeps happening. Scott? Okay. Let's do this.
Winter came, and with it dark, heavy clouds.
This is Thomas Terrence in the Snow from 1949, and it's read by Sir John. I can't read that. Gielgud.
Like it, said Thomas's driver. A heavy fall is coming. I hope it doesn't stop us. Ooh, said Thomas, seeing the snow melt on the rails. Soft stuff, nothing to it.
This is Thomas Terrence in the Snow.
Wilbert became a clergyman.
Huh?
Did you see how thin Terrence was?
Yeah. Look at that. And also, Thomas has a lamp
Man,
on
he
his
must put on
box.
some weight.
Duck and Ginty pushing Murdoch. Yes, it is. Hello, Martin. Now this is Brian Sibley. He's Wilbert Awdry's biographer.
Nothing to it. Wilbert became a clergyman. He became a clergyman eventually, I suspect, because his father had become a clergyman. He had his second curacy. He was down in Wiltshire. He was quite a young clergyman. And he believed, with the outbreak of the Second World War, that he had to follow a pacifist line. He had to be a pacifist. Now, this wasn't a particularly popular thing to believe at the time. And Wilbert stood by this belief, absolutely.
So, long story short, because of the outbreak of the Second World War, Wilbert Awdry decided to become a pacifist, which means he wouldn't fight, or he just wouldn't do violence, basically. He wouldn't fight anyone or anything along the lines of that because of the outbreak of the Second World War.
Determinedly, even.
And no one, not a lot of people would do that. And here we can see Henry, Gordon, and James in the sheds. Here we have Gordon with his square white buffers, and Henry in his old shape. Because he doesn't have a square.
Henry so short?
I guess he is a bit. Maybe that's just the angle of the drawing, but I'm not sure.
One of the engines in Edward's shed was called Gordon.
This is Edward and Gordon.
Very big, very proud. You watch me this afternoon, little Edward, he boasted, as I rush through with the express. That'll be a splendid sight for you.
There's the cow. There's the cow on the line. Who could see the cow?
Gordon, go grab that car and sell it to McDonald's.
My father did have problems with artists who didn't know anything about trains, and they would draw the same engine differently on several different pages. And of course, small children are very quick to pick this up, and they write to the author and point out these mistakes.
Now this is where they start talking about artists. Ouch, the views went down. It went from just freaking, I think it's just me and you at this point. Scott.
Wait, it's just us?
I think it might be. So this is where they start talking about artists. Mr. Marriott asked an artist named C. Reginald Dalby to turn the Reverend Wilbur Awdry sketches into like full-on paintings, and his later books were illustrated by a man named Peter Edwards. So let's go on with this. This is where they do all the painting.
Awdry was fairly specific about which way he wanted the.
Now this is Peter Edwards, the illustrator for the Railway series from 1963 to 1972.
Engines to face, and so you were stuck with having either the back end of an engine with no face on at all, or else some very peculiar view where you could just about see the face.
He talks about how when drawing an engine from the back, he has no idea if he should just draw an engine without the face, so because most engines don't have faces, or like in such a way so you can like just see like part of the gray part that is the face. And he had this problem during illustration.
But generally, it was a fairly straightforward process, provided I remembered which way round engines faced on the railway line.
I suppose what struck me most...
It's Michael Rosen. It's Michael Rosen. Who knows, for those of you who don't know, he's a pushback Ertl Thomas. Jackie Service to Lynn. Okay, this is Michael Rosen. For those of you who don't know Michael Rosen, you may know him as the nice meme, but he was before he was a famous internet meme, he was actually a children's book writer, which makes him a very good source and a very good person to document and interview, because he was a children's book writer. So we can go on, because they put Michael Rosen in here because the Railway series wasn't just good, it was nice. So let's go on with this.
Most about them was the incredible vivid colour. I mean, it seems like a rather banal thing to say, but when you think about the 50s, most books were fairly grey, and those books that weren't were printed on a kind of rather sort of browny paper, and maybe with just 2 or 3 colours. And there was something about these tank engine books that they were incredibly vivid, incredibly bright.
Now this is where they try and fish Thomas. You can see the fishing poles hanging against his side tanks. Nice. You can see, I don't know.
He has no back.
He has no what?
He has no back buffers.
He doesn't. You can't see them. Also, his wheels are, I don't know if it's just an angle, but his wheels are a bit too close to the front, or they're, I don't know, a bit too close together, because the back of his foot plate looks a bit long, doesn't it?
No,
I don't know
the
if
back is like supposed to go like down a bit. Yeah.
Also, there's coaches back here. If you look in the background, there's 2 orange coaches. No one is pulling them. No one is pulling them. They're just there.
Wow.
I think this is supposed to be, Annie and Clarabelle, but they're like off to a siding. I don't know if that's safe, because I don't know. They're kind of in the middle of a few points.
And almost kind of glowing. Now, I mean, there's several moments in the Thomas the Tank Engine books that I can remember and I've carried with me for all my life. And I suppose one of the key ones is the moment when Henry gets bricked up in the very first of the Thomas Tank Engine books, the 3 railway engines. Now, this has just been handed to me, and I've just seen this for the first time for something like what must be 45 years. And I went, this is incredible, because I've held the picture in my head, I held the picture there, and then suddenly I'm seeing it, and it's an extraordinary thing in which the two things are meeting.
So they have a lot of more real life things. You're back. Hey, what's up? They have a lot of more real life sequences. You can see in this background, you can see the season 1 express coaches. You can see they're sort of slanted, but yeah, these are the season 1 express coaches in the back. Here they are. This is all signals and whatnot. Oh, and there's the LMSI vet with the creepy face. Let's see if we can get a good shot.
Next thing you know, the train derails.
And he's still smiling. Look at this. Look at him in his creepy face. All right, let's go back.
It's more real than we could possibly imagine. And it seems to remind us of a world that is gone. As you look at those drawings, first drawn by C. Reginald Dalby, you see those green hills and the blue distant mountains.
There's that whirly bird thing. All right, let's get back.
And the sea beyond, and you see the cows strolling through the meadows, and you see the children standing alongside the line, waving at the trains as they go by. That is an evocation of an age that is gone. And it's always created in glowing, iridescent colours. And those colours and those pictures leap off the page at you.
That was, I like the Railway Series, Annie and Clarabelle. Yeah, they are some long coaches. That man in the glasses and the blue, that was the Reverend's biographer. And this is where they start talking about preserving the pictures. And by the pictures, I mean the paintings that were made by, C. Reginald Dalby in the Railway Series. Preserving the pictures, the artwork for the books is now worth well over £1 million, so it must be kept in perfect condition. So now we can go back.
Some of the stones hit Henry's boiler and spoilt his paint. One hit the fireman on the head as he was shoveling coal, and others broke the carriage windows. It's a shame, hissed Henry. They've broken our glass, sobbed the coaches.
And what if any of the Reverend's family members are still alive?
If any of the Reverend, what now?
I mean, any of the Reverend's family is still alive.
They are. The Reverend is sadly dead.
They just go to tell, hey, this is our show.
Yeah, Christopher Awdry is still alive. His son Christopher is still alive at a good 80 years.
Why do you feel like Christopher Awdry should just go to the Mattel like, hi, I'm directing the show now?
I don't know. Is that the bird?
Yeah.
Is that the bird?
Chef.
What's his name or her name? I don't know. What's his, her breed and name?
Huh?
Your bird. For your bird, what's his, her breed or name?
Well, my mom named it Orange, which I did not really like the name of, but I can't bother to change it.
Orange? Why not just call him Billy at this point? What's the breed?
I called them Orange for I even like Billy.
Why? What's the breed? What is the breed? Do you know if it's like a parakeet or whatnot, or a parrot?
Huh?
Do you know if your bird is like a parakeet or a parrot? What's the breed?
Yeah, it's like a cockatiel.
It's a cocked. You mean a cockatoo? Not a cocktail?
No, those are like those parrots. I got a cockatiel.
All right.
I'm scraping off blue that's imposing on the image of the painting.
This is Victoria Button. She's a picture restorer for the Railway series.
Clean it off and it's good for reproduction. This type of series has got lots of blue damage. Some has had some kind of skinning of the surface. The paper's come off and I've had to replace the paper and paint over it. Or lots of the paint has popped off from the surface of the picture and I've had to repaint the image.
The driver and fireman were drinking cocoa in the break van.
Uh-oh. Flying
The
Kipper.
guard pulled out his watch. The kipper's due, he said. Who cares, said the fireman. This is good cocoa.
Cocoa, my dear engine, he gasped. Save me.
This is Wrong Road from 1966. Now, the interesting thing about this is that, for one, Bill and Ben in the Railway series, for those of you who don't know, Bill and Ben, they're, well, how is it? They're built like they're built like their bases, Alfred and Judy. But in the TV series, they had to make them larger so their faces would work properly. Now, another thing about Bill and Ben is that in the Railway series, just above their faces, in very tiny writing on their smoke boxes, they had the numbers 1 and 2. Just above their faces on the smoke boxes, 1 for Bill, 2 for Ben. But this wasn't ever put in the this wasn't ever put in the TV series. And also, Gordon has eyelashes. Look at the.
I just noticed that.
Look at the pretty Gordon.
Oh, he's looking so fab.
This is a Wrong Road and the Reverend is narrating this.
Cocoa, my dear engine, he gasped. Save me. Cocoa quickly sized up the situation and sent Bill and Ben about their business.
Whoa, yellow face Boko. Anyone remember when he was dark green? So weird to see him with such a face. He also now has eyelashes.
His eyes are so tiny and his nose and mouth are so big.
Also, his light is turned on while this one isn't. Oh, sorry, you probably don't see this. His light's turned on while the other one isn't. What was the point of that? This reminds me of John and the Diesel a bit. Alright, let's go back.
So he basically has a light input in his face.
Like Caroline.
He basically has a light input in his face. Like, imagine having a light in your face.
Like, think of Caroline's design. Her eyes are her headlights. Ugh. I don't like that Boko. Yeah, me neither. But I like the newer one. Also, if you didn't realize, Gordon has a middle lamp. Only the middle. I know, like, one lamp is a branch line. 2 is goods train, I believe. Or like a big train. 2, 1 in the middle, 1 on the side is a goods train, and I think 2, 1 on the left, 1 on the right is like important passengers. Well, we can go back now.
Boko threatened to take away the trucks of coal he'd bought for them. That made them behave at once. Gordon thought he was wonderful. Those little demons, he said. How do you do it? Ah, well, said Boko. It's just a knack. Gordon thinks to this day that Boko saved his life, but we know that the twins were only teasing.
It's nice to see the Reverend smile at his own work.
Reading the stories nowadays.
Now this is Christopher Awdry, the Reverend Wilbert Awdry's son, and like I said before, he's still alive and well at 80 years. And this is what he looked like in 1995 when he was, what, 55, something like that.
Hmm.
And here he is, with a goatee, a lovely goatee.
Wow.
All right.
One does get the impression that, to begin with, say for the first 5 books, the stories are told on a not a much younger level, but at a more young level than they later became. Father developed as a writer, of course, and I think the stories developed with him. He began to use more complicated plots.
And then
There's freaking, I don't even know who this is. Edward, with his face is tilted.
Like, have you ever seen one of those carnival rides where like they got like fake characters?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, that's what Ed.
yeah. All right, let's get back.
you've got to remember that you're not merely writing for children, you're writing for the unfortunate people, mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, grandfathers, grandmothers, who've got to read the children the stories aloud, not just once, but over and over and over again. And so the story must be easy to read.
So they talk about how the Reverend basically says that he wasn't just thinking about children when he was writing his books, but he was thinking about how children need to read it themselves to make it easy, but also the adults need to read, the books over and over and over again, read aloud to the little kids. So they have to take both the adults and the children in mind.
And when it's his birthday, I guess I'd have to there's trees and well,
Skip.
I forgot now. Henry is
Oh, I love this part. Big Nose Thomas. There's the next kid. He describes the flying kipper in a nutshell, and it's so perfect. Listen.
I forgot now. Henry is chosen to take some fish to some place, and then he goes really fast and he slips off the line.
Perfect. Perfect flying kipper in a nutshell. Henry is chosen to go take some fish to some place, and then he goes really fast and he slips off the line. Someone, he's like, write that down.
And then he had new coal when he was going, and he got his old coal back, but he got a new shape in body.
There we go. He got a new shape and body. He got something right there. It's the missing coach. It's the lost episode. It's the missing coach. I really like the Railway series, Donald and Douglas, when they had white buffers, because I feel like there's way too much black on the Railway or on the TV series versions. I mean, they have black wheels. Their foot plates are black. The only things that aren't black are their faces, their whistles, and their. Well, I guess, is this like a buffer beam? Would this be considered a buffer beam, or was this? I don't know. It's their buffer beams that are basically the only thing, other than their tender and he crashed into a brake van. So yeah, the only things on Donald and Douglas that aren't black are their buffer and buffer beams, their whistle, their cab and tender stripes, and that's it. That's the only things. So I just gave them white buffers because at least the buffers aren't black and they don't just fit in with everything else. So this is the missing coach. This was originally supposed to be a Thomas episode, but the creator Britt Allcroft, she found it too confusing, so she had to pick something else.
That again and again the books are returning to the idea
It's Michael Rosen.
Order and who's in charge. And obviously we know the Fat Controller, that he's the big chief.
The Fat Controller, he's the big chief. Small Engines 87. Can I join, please? It's just gonna be me and Scott right now. So, I mean, I'd love for you to join, but it's just me and Scott right now. But you can just watch this video. We're reacting to a documentary with Thomas and the Reverend Wilbert Awdry. If you wanna remember the title, it's 19. All you have to do is just look up 1995 BBC the Reverend Wilbert Awdry, and you'll find it. Or even better, 1995 Reverend Wilbert Awdry, and you got it. It's a documentary all about all the different stuff.
And then we have the engines, and there's a hierarchy between the engines as to who's entitled to pull the express trains.
And there's the nice Michael Rosen.
And little Thomas the Tank, who thinks that he's a bit better than that. And then below that, below the level of the engines, you've got the carriages.
This is interesting. They talk all about hierarchy and who's in charge, and they show like what might actually happen on a railway if something bad happens, and the controller finds out.
The passengers came and argued too, but Henry would not move. The fat director, who was on the train, told the guard to get a rope. "We'll pull you out," he said.
Driver, why are you late? I'm afraid that's not good enough. You're very late. You thrown everything out the tanker. I'm very sorry. I'll ask you to come and see me afterwards, okay? Who is the driver anyway? Malcolm. Harry Malcolm. Oh, well, that explains a lot. Right. Then I'd like to see him afterwards. Good.
Rather annoyed. There's bureaucrats in high places who issued directives but didn't do anything themselves to help implement them. And that's what the first fat director is inclined to do. 1, 2, 3, push, he said, but didn't push himself. My doctor has forbidden me to push, he said.
There is certainly an analogy to be drawn between the fact that the engines are governed by a sort of omnipresent being. And if you care to equate the Fat Controller with God in that sense, then fine. I don't think really that was the original concept, but Father being a clergyman, maybe it was a subconscious one.
Awdry's fed into them, really, the way in which children relate to adults. That's actually what you're talking about. You're talking about children in families and children in schools and the hierarchical world that children belong to, and younger children and older children. And Awdry very cleverly has, in a sense, taken those ideas about hierarchy and order and put them on to objects that we used to see around us the whole time.
I don't set out to write a moral story. When I was young, we used to, on Sundays, we used to have to read horribly boring moral stories about good little boys who, in our opinion, my brothers and I opinion, wanted kicking rather than they were so beastly good.
What is going on? We have one viewer. Who is the one viewer? I think it's just me and you now, because there's one viewer.
Wow. Who is that?
That is sad.
Well.
That is the mega sad. You're not talking that much. Yeah, it's just us. Small Engines 87, James, Percy, everyone left. That Ertl don't have a number. Oh, God. No, it does have a number. It's just not very visible. Hi. Oh, there's people joining back now. Alright.
But they were so beastly good. And they were held up as moral examples. Well, my stories are nothing like that. The engines are have human characteristics, like children faced with a prohibition, as every child does. They push it and push it and push it to see how far they can go without bringing trouble on themselves. And then they do find it. But in my engines, they may be punished, but they're not scrapped. They have to express sorrow.
There's a Crux scrapyard, and I can quickly fix Crux scrapyard into another better name. Cox scrapyard. I'm gonna get demonetized for this.
And intention of amendment, and then they're brought back into the family, so to speak.
Oh God, it's back. Scott, it's back. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, that's not terrifying at all.
Well, Thomas, so you and your driver have been fishing, but fish doesn't suit you, and we must get them out. So the driver and the fireman fetched rods and nets, and they all took turns at fishing in Thomas's tank while the fat controller told them how to do it.
Like father, like son. When Mr. Awdry stopped writing in 1972, he had written 26 books, and in 1983, Christopher took over as author of the Railway series. Now, this is interesting, because they say he took over in 1983, yet the TV series was made in 1984, I believe. So I believe after this, they'll start talking about the TV series. So, yeah, I think that's what they'll start doing. Fish. Alright. If you guys want, we can split this into two parts, where we do one part where they talk about the Railway series, and then another where they talk about the TV series, because I'm pretty sure the talk about the TV series is starting to come up soon, and this live stream is kind of dying a bit. So we can continue watching for another like 10 minutes, and then we can end it when they start talking about the TV series and Brit Allcroft, and we can split, into two, because the video is already at almost halfway. So yeah, let's keep watching. And this is where Christopher Awdry was signing copies of his books.
Thank you.
There we are. Your colour, are you?
Yes. Thank you very much.
In the early 80s,
Oh my God, it's miniature Ertl.
I really want those tiny Ertls.
They're so. Imagine how tiny those must be. I want all of them.
someone
like
called
the size
Brit
of, like,
Allcroft came along.
smaller
She
than
is
your...
a businesswoman, and her children had loved the railway.
Look at how small they are. That's a DVD. That's a DVD. Can you see that?
Like Thomas, Annie, and Clever will probably. Yes, I saw.
That's a DVD. Can you imagine how
Like, I'm
small
pretty
those must
Thomas,
be?
Annie, Thomas, Annie, and Clever will probably be the size of your thumb.
Yeah. Suppose. All right, let's get back.
She is a businesswoman, and her children had loved the railway stories.
Oh, here
The
we
books
go.
have been going strong for over 35 years and were obviously here to stay. So she had talks with my father about making a TV series of the stories.
Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Boom, 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 dun, dun, dun. This is the big epic. Yeah, I think this is a good place
Next
to
thing
end
you
it
know,
off.
Thomas falls in the water.
I think this is a good place to end it because we've already done the railway series, so we can end this here when they start talking about the TV series. And we've already been going
Yeah.
live for almost an hour. Good lord. So yeah, I think it's about time we should end the live stream because we've done the railway series. We should do the TV series next time. I'm not sure when next time
Yeah.
shall be, but it will be at some point. Hopefully, some point soon. So,
Okay.
yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you guys want to see the entire video, the title is Bookmark 1995 BBC The Rev W. Awdry Rare Documentary. But I literally just looked up 1995 BBC Rev, and here we are, 1995 BBC Rev, and this is what comes up. So this is the video where they talk about where they interview the Reverend Wilbert Vere Awdry and his family and a bunch of children that watched the show. Later, long story short, they start talking about TV series and merchandising and different countries that love the show. So, yeah, this is about a good place to end it off. Scott has already left. So, nah, we're not going to continue, Percy, sorry. Now's about a good place to end it because we've been streaming for almost an hour and there's only a few viewers left. There used to be 5, but now there's 3, and I think now's a good time to end it. So thank you guys for watching. Big thank you to Scott Morrison / Thomas #1 Engine for joining me today, and I hope to see you guys another day. Bye, everyone.